So many different great things. Where is he? Come on up here, Elon. He created the first major American car company in generations, and his rocket company is the only reason we can now send American astronauts into space. Come here. Take over, Elon. Just take over.
Elon Musk is in trouble. He just went toe-to-toe with the most powerful man on Earth. And it's getting ugly fast. We connected all the dots, and what I found about the MAGA leader and Elon Musk shocked us. How did the richest man alive go from Trump's biggest supporter to his fiercest enemy almost overnight? I dug into it. All of it. The rallies, private emails, secret meetings, X-fights late at night, the power plays, and even a near fist fight that no one has fully explained. What I found will make you sit up, because this story doesn't start where most people think it does, and it definitely won't end where you expect. Take a look at these two tweets. Now stay with me here. The first one, look at that. It's Elon Musk praising Trump. He was straight up implying that President Trump and not Kamala was the only man with guts to fix the country. That was March. Just 2 months later, he's tweeting about the Epstein list, which he has now deleted. And he's not being vague either. He's hinting that the guy in the White House knows more than he's letting on. And that the man is even implicated in the files themselves. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like, how do we go from I stand with him to I'm about to expose you in 8 weeks? So of course, the question is, what happened? What flipped? Because this wasn't some random online beef. Nah, this had history behind it. The fact is that if you've not been living under a rock this past year, you already know Elon and Trump were close. Like, close to the heart close. This was the bromance of the year. It was hard to see a business person with lots to lose actively supporting a politician. George Soros is seen as the man who throws money at the Democrats and anyone who will do his bidding. Still, not even he had the guts to be as public with his support for a candidate like Elon did. He was not just throwing support from behind a screen. He was there at the campaign rallies, on stage, at the front row, smiling like he had a stake in the game. And perhaps he did. On October 5th, 2024, in Butler, Pennsylvania, we saw Elon right behind Trump during the rally. He wore the cap, even raised his fist like a soldier. And if that wasn't enough, he did it again in New York at Madison Square Garden later that month. He went ahead to back Trump with over $277 million and was the biggest individual donor of the entire campaign. And after the failed assassination attempt on Trump in September 2024, Elon went from supporter to full-on protector. Gave him public endorsements, more money, and even more access. By the time Trump won and was sworn in January 2025, Elon moved into the Lincoln bedroom. Yes, that Lincoln bedroom. Trump gave him an office, he had clearance, and got a seat at the table. Together, they launched DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, which they said would cut waste and make the government run smoother. But what did it really do? Some would argue that it only gave Elon a foot inside every room that mattered. And we believe this is where things started getting shaky. Elon went straight to business, and within a few days, the Lion of Tesla had sent a mass email to federal workers asking them to list their weekly accomplishments. Now, that might sound normal in a Tesla meeting. But in DC, let's be honest, that's not how things work. People were mad. Staffers whispered that Elon was acting like he owned the place. One top aide reportedly called him a tech tyrant. Another said he was treating the White House like an engineering lab. At this point, nothing out in public yet. There were no insults, threats, and not even a tweet. But trust me, the energy inside the building had changed. The bromance was starting to shake, and it wasn't going to hold much longer. It happened on April 1st. No joke. That was the day the first real crack hit the surface. Elon trying to show just how powerful he was. This had him dumping millions into a Supreme Court race in Wisconsin. The candidate was a pro-Trump pick and was someone the movement needed badly at that point. Elon backed him hard. He gave him ads, influencers, and the full online push. And guess what? The guy lost. Badly, in fact, to be honest, it was really embarrassing for Elon, for Trump, and for everyone who thought they were unstoppable together. Then, a few days later, things got even messier when Elon called Peter Navarro, who was a top Trump trade advisor, a moron. Yes, his word. Said it on X. Just threw it out there. If this were just a policy disagreement, one could have given it a pass, maybe without the moron thing. But this was a line-crossing moment, and people inside the White House noticed.
Her reaction to the statement from Elon Musk calling Peter Navarro truly a moron and dumber than a sack of bricks is, whatever. We are the most transparent administration in history, expressing our disagreements in public. So clearly the attitude from the president and from the White House more broadly is, sort of a boys will be boys attitude.
By mid-April, tensions had gone from quiet to visible. Elon reportedly got into a shouting match with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. And over what? Steve Bannon, Bessent called Musk a fraud. It turned into a full-blown argument. Some say there was pushing. Others say the Secret Service had to step in. Either way, it was clear that this was not normal. And if you're Trump, someone who lives for loyalty and hates chaos in his inner circle, that's a problem. By the end of the month, Elon started pulling back. He spent less time in the White House and more time at Tesla and X. We could literally feel the distance, the kind you feel when two people stop texting first. Then came June. And that's when the public fireworks finally began. June 5th. That was the day everything exploded. It started like any other day. But by the time the sun set, Washington had just witnessed a digital earthquake. Before then, tension was already brewing over Trump's one big, beautiful bill. And feels like the tech mogul wasn't able to convince Trump and his other folks against it, and so took to X. Early that morning, Elon gets on X and starts pulling receipts. He digs up old Trump tweets about spending. Some of those tweets were several years old, but suddenly very relevant. He kept pulling one tweet after the other. It was all subtle at first, but if you followed Elon long enough, when he's warming up, Trump also didn't hold back and immediately shot back during a press event. He said Elon had lost his mind suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. And it felt like that was all Elon needed. Suddenly, he hits back, and this time harder. In fact, he went straight for Trump's new tax bill and labeled it a disaster. Says it was rushed through behind closed doors and that he never even saw it before it passed. Somewhere else, that kind of thing would be dismissed as a mere insult, but in D.C., it's a challenge. And then, boom. At exactly 12:46 p.m., Elon drops a tweet that changes the tone completely. Without him, Trump would have lost 2024. In fact, this remains one of the few tweets that Elon has left undeleted. This was exactly the point where the energy shifted and even I had to pay attention. At 1:57, he posts a poll to his 200 million followers. Should America have a new party that will represent the 80% in the middle? By 2:37 p.m., Trump is livid. He goes nuclear on Truth Social, calls Elon crazy, says he's worn thin, threatens to yank every federal contract from Tesla and SpaceX, billions on the line. Minutes later, Elon responds, says it's a lie, dares Trump to follow through, and then, at 2:49, he lights the match that blows the feud into something darker. Time to drop the big bomb, he tweets. This was the point where everything went nuclear. In fact, this could have been the first you heard about the feud. And the reason is because everything went off. Reporters scrambled to jump on the news. Screenshots started going viral, and even TV anchors paused live to report the news of the month. By 4 p.m., Elon is tweeting about shutting down the Dragon spacecraft. Says if Trump's going to cancel contracts, maybe he cancels missions too. Then he warns that Trump's tariffs could spark a recession. Later, he takes it one step further and posts a clip of Trump and Epstein together. He didn't even say much and just let the media talk. Immediately, the White House started scrambling. We saw public denials, anonymous sources, and internal panic. And finally, around 9:20 p.m., Elon softens. Just a little. Replies to a tweet about dialing down the fight. Says, "You're not wrong." That was the end of one day. It was a day that was so chaotic that in just 12 hours, we watched two of the world's most powerful men burn their alliance down to ash. Now, here's the part that nobody's really telling you. I realize that not even the press, not the pundits, have emphasized this, but the insiders who saw it coming. In March, while everyone else was focused on budgets and headlines, Elon was reportedly holding private meetings with top generals, and the topic was China. And this was reportedly some big stuff. I mean, global power plays, defense strategy. The kind of thing you don't discuss lightly and definitely not without telling the commander-in-chief. But Trump wasn't told. Not by Elon or anyone on his team. He found out through a media leak. And that, right there, flipped everything. Because Trump felt blindsided, like someone had stepped into his territory. And let's be honest, Trump doesn't let things like that slide. Publicly, he brushed it off, called it fake news. But behind the scenes, insiders say he was furious. From that moment, the tone changed and Doge started getting pushed to the side. Several contracts that Musk had influence over suddenly came up for review. Even staffers stopped responding to Elon's team, and the inner circle started closing the doors. Because in Trump's world, it's simple. If you act like the president while the real one's still in office, you're going to get burned. And just like that, the bromance was over. No more handshakes, no more hallway chats, just silence, then fire. So who wins in all this? Elon with his money, his reach, and his audience? Or Trump with the government, the military, the full weight of federal power? I know it's tempting to say the one with the most cash wins. You could say that tweets and reach and headlines are the new throne. But anyone who has watched Game of Thrones remembers that legendary scene. At the end of the day, Elon may have followers, but Trump still has the office. And for now, that means he still controls the board. And just so we're clear, this isn't the end of the story. We'll touch even more in another video. Because if this fight shocked you, what's coming next might just flip the whole board over. See you in the next one, and don't forget to also tune in on the feud between Trump and John Deere.